Hello students, in my previous two videos I have discussed what are matrices, the various types of matrices and the various operations on matrices. So over there we had seen that matrices is simply a rectangular arrangement of well-defined objects. You keep changing the arrangement, or within the arrangement also if you change the position of elements, we keep getting different matrices. Then we did the that for checking the equality of matrices, addition of and doing addition and subtraction of matrices. We have all these three have to satisfy one particular quality, that is that the matrices should be comparable, that is of the same order. If the matrices are if two matrices are comparable, only then we can check for equality of two matrices, and only then we can add and subtract two matrices, and the result would be another matrix of the same order. All this we saw in the previous video. Again, for scalar multiplication or multiplication of a matrix by multiplication of a matrix by a scalar, we get back another matrix of the same order having each matrix multiplied by that scalar. That is, if we write k into A, which is an m by n matrix, we get back another m by n matrix which is called B, which can be defined as each element of this is k times the elements of the original matrix. So it's another m by n matrix. Then we saw that in case of multiplication, we need the two matrices to be conformable for multiplication. And what we mean by conformable is that if you have two matrices A and B, they should be of this kind, that is, the number of columns of A should be equal to the number of columns of B. Number of columns of A should be equal to the number of rows of B. Only then we say that they are conformable for multiplication, and then we get back another matrix which has the same number of rows as that of A and same number of columns as that of B. Now, as you can clearly see that if A and B are we are able to multiply, that is, if they are conformable for multiplication, it is not necessary that B into A will also be conformable for multiplication, as we can clearly see that if it's a m by n matrix and B is a n by p matrix, if we find B into A, we have a n by p matrix getting multiplied to a m by n matrix, and these are not even conformable, so multiplication is not allowed here. This is the first case. Another case is that we may have both the multiplication to be commutative, and in that case what do we have? Suppose we have that let A and B be such that, suppose it's a m by n matrix and this is a n by p matrix. So C is m by p and m by m matrix, and if we find B and A, product of B and A, what do we get? N by m, m by n. This is also possible, they are conformable, and we get another matrix which is n by n. So even though both AB and BA are defined, but still AB is not equal to BA because they are not even comparable. They are of different orders. AB is of order m by m, whereas BA is of order n by n. So as they are not comparable, we can't even check it for equality. Sometimes we also have this is the second case. Third case is that we may have square matrices, like n by n getting multiplied to n by n to get a result which is another n by n matrix. So obviously BA would also be defined, and it's not necessary that we get back the same matrix. Many a times we get back a n by n matrix where C is n by n, D is also n by n, then these need not be equal. So it is not necessary that even if they are comparable, they will be equal. And so in majority of the cases, so in general, we'll say that AB is not equal to BA, that is matrix multiplication is not commutative. Okay, it is not commutative, but we still have a very small percentage of matrices are such that they are commutative. I mean, their multiplication is commutative. They are commutative when multiplied. That is, a very small section of matrices are such that when they are multiplied, they would be commutative. So obviously they will satisfy 2-3 properties, that they need to be square matrices of same order. First thing is, that's a prerequisite, that they have to be square matrices of same order. And the second thing should be AB equal to BA. Then we say that they are commutative. Okay, now this is the first thing. Now if at all they are commutative, means you can write AB equal to BA. Now out of these, okay, we want to find whether division is division exists or not, or whether they are invertible or not. Means if we want to consider division of matrices, so what do we mean? A upon B. So it means that it is the product of A with 1 upon B. So 1 upon B is called the inverse of 1 upon B is called the inverse of the matrix B, which is written as B inverse. Okay, now a matrix is invertible if and only if. Now when do we call it invertible? Okay, so inverse of a matrix. So this leads us to inverse of a matrix. So only this small category which is commutative, you may think that the inverse may exist. Rest all we can't even think about it. So it is defined as a matrix is said to be invertible if and only if it is commutative. Means while multiplying, so its matrix multiplication is commutative, and we have AB equal to BA equal to I, which is the identity matrix of same order. Obviously it needs to be same order, otherwise we can't equate two matrices. So if we get AB equal to BA equal to I, which is an identity matrix of the same order, we say that A is the inverse of B and vice versa. So we write A inverse equal to B and B inverse equal to A. This is how we write it. Now let us take up one question. You may be asked to solve a question like, let's say if A is given to be a matrix like clearly it's a 2 by 2 matrix, 3 1 minus 1 2, and we'll be required to show that a squared minus 5a plus 7i equal to 0, where this 0 means a null matrix, and hence find its inverse. So the question could be asked to you like this. So what we do is, first of all, we have to prove this equation. So what we do is, we'll first find a squared, which comes out to be 3 1 minus 1 2 into, again we write a squared would be, now here whether we do, since we are doing the multiplication, I mean it's a square or cube or fourth power, whenever we do over there, it doesn't matter whether we do which one we write first. Like suppose after getting a square, if we have to find a cube, we could do it as a into a squared or a squared into a. Over here we don't have to worry because it's only a square, so we simply write both the a's one after the other and then solve. So when we solve it, so first row first column, that is 9 minus 1, first row second column, that is 3 plus 2, second row first column, that is minus 3 minus 2, second row second column, that is minus 1 plus 4, which gets solved to 8 5 minus 5 and 3. So this is the value of a squared. Similarly, you can find out 5 times a. What will 5 times a be? It's a scalar multiplication. So as we've already done, each element gets multiplied by 5. So what we get is 15, 5, minus 5 and 10. Similarly, if we do 7i, now here, even if it is not said that what is I, we know I is an identity matrix. They haven't even told us what is the order of I, but the very fact that this equation holds, it indicates clearly that you will be able to add or subtract only if they are comparable matrices. So I also needs to be of the same order as A or A square, and so I would be an identity matrix of order 2. So writing it that way, we get it like this, which on solving gives us 7007. Now we have these three matrices, so substituting we get a squared minus 5a plus 7i will be equal to, we are starting with the left hand side. Now a squared we have got as 8 5 minus 5 3, then you subtract 5a, which is 15 5 minus 5 10, and then you add 7i, which is 7007. So let's write it. We know that whenever we do addition and subtraction, the terms in the corresponding position get added or subtracted. So what do we get? And it's a 2 by 2 matrix, so we will get back a 2 by 2 matrix only. So there are 4 positions basically to be filled up. The first position will have 8 minus 15 plus 7. Then next one would be 5 minus 5 plus 0. So 5 minus 5 plus 0. Next one will be minus 5. Then minus of minus becomes plus. So plus 5 plus 0. Next one would be 3 minus 10 plus 7, and when we solve it, we get back a null matrix which is of order 2. So clearly it's a 2 by 2 matrix. We started with all 2 by 2 matrices. Here they have not said anything about this null matrix. Obviously it will hold only if we can see they are on either side of equal to sign. So this will hold only if they are all of the same order, and this is what we have got, that the null matrix is also of order 2 by 2, and so which is equal to the right hand side, and we get a squared minus 5a plus 7i equal to the null matrix O. Right, this we have proved. Now using this we have to find the inverse. So what we do is, you can either pre-multiply all or you can post-multiply all. So suppose I multiply throughout by A inverse. I'll get A inverse A squared minus 5A inverse A plus 7A inverse I is equal to A inverse into the null matrix. Now I can write this as A inverse A. One of these will be together. One A gets separated minus. Now this A inverse A, the property of inverse of a matrix is that when they are multiplied, they give us the identity matrix. So this will be replaced with the identity matrix plus 7. Now identity matrix has one more property, that it when multiplied to any matrix gives us back the same matrix. It's like the identity element for the multiplication of matrices. Just like in case of numbers, one has that role of identity element of multiplication, because one when pre-multiplied or post-multiplied to any number gives us back the same number. So identity matrix plays the same role in matrices as one plays in real numbers. So what do we have? I is the identity matrix, which is the identity element for multiplication, which when multiplied to any matrix gives us back that matrix. So we get 7A inverse equal to, now again O, which is the null matrix, has the same role to play as 0 in real numbers. We know that 0 when multiplied to any number gives us back 0. Same way, the null matrix when multiplied to any matrix gives us back the null matrix of the same order. So we have got this. Now we just rearrange. We have to solve for A inverse. So now what we get is, first of all, we solve this. What do we get? This, in place of this, we'll again write IA minus 5I plus 7A inverse equal to O. Now IA is again A minus 5I plus 7A inverse equal to O. We solve for A inverse. We get 7A inverse is equal to O minus, see, anything added or subtracted to 0 is the same thing. So let it be 0 minus, then this A goes this side, it becomes minus A. This 5I goes this side, it becomes plus 5I. So basically what we get is A inverse is 1 upon 7 times minus A plus 5I. So now what we have to do is A inverse would be 1 upon 7 times. Minus A is the negative of A. Now A is given to us as 3, 1, minus 1, 2. So 3, 1, minus 1, 2. We have to take negative of this, plus 5 times I is 5005, and so what we get is 1 upon 7. Now this is, either you write it as minus 3, minus 1, 1, minus 2 plus 5005, which on solving gives us A inverse is equal to 1 upon 7. Now minus 3 plus 5 is 2. Minus 1 plus 0 is minus 1, 1 plus 0 is 1, and minus 2 plus 5 is 3. And so the inverse of this matrix is this. Or you can write it, we know that scalar multiplication of a matrix is another matrix which gives us every element multiplied by that scalar. So it can also be written as 2 by 7 minus 1 by 7, 1 by 7 and 3 by 7, and this is the answer, which can be easily verified. I mean, if you want to check whether your working is correct or not, you can multiply this A inverse with the given matrix A and we should get back the identity matrix. So you can check it if need be. If you are not confident whether the answer you have done the calculations correctly or not, you can do this cross check or the verification. Otherwise, directly just leave the answer like this and be done with it. So this way you can find the inverse of a matrix. Thank you.